Hello everyone. Today we are here with Nate from Wiremind Cargo. Hello Nate, how are you?
Hi, good to be here.
Can you tell us about yourself and Wiremind Cargo's mission and journey that led to its establishment?
Wiremind Cargo's mission is really to bring to the air cargo world, and in particular to airlines, digital solutions, decision support systems, core reservation systems, and so on. Modern solutions. We compare ourselves to legacy players that have been around for a long time. In our case, we have built a company based on very new technology with a set of skills that is really something that we hope differentiates us from our competitors. In terms of the journey that led to our inception, yeah, I mean, we've been in the business for 10 years and cargo for 7, and we have launched the Wiremind Cargo corporate entity 3 years ago now.
So the company has innovative solutions like CargoStack and CMS and SkyPallet. How do these solutions address the evolving needs of air cargo industry, and what impact have they had on operational efficiency?
So the first thing, I think you're very right to say evolving needs, because that's really something that summarizes, I would say, the changes we've seen with airlines in the last few years. If you were to ask an airline 10 years ago, what are your needs? And if you ask that same question today, I think the answer would be dramatically different. And we try to address those changes with our SaaS solutions. One main need is like really stepping up the game in terms of usage of data. So they're sitting often on top of a big pile of data. There are lots of data in the air cargo industry, but it's not always used the right way. Either before the airlines do not necessarily have the expertise to use it well for themselves. Sometimes they don't have the data quality that they need, and sometimes they don't necessarily are aware of what solutions are there in the market that can help drive value of that data. So our added value as a company is really to address those aspects by saying, well, you have data, we can provide decision support systems that are leveraging the quality of the data, putting that together with our expertise in AI, and then delivering to your users insights, recommendations, so that you can take immediate actions and automate some of your processes. So that's one big part. And the other one would be more on the core reservation, core flight management, core booking management levels, where we think that most systems in the market are a bit legacy, I would say, meaning they're not necessarily ripe for innovation. So when you want to introduce something new, it takes a lot of time. The data architecture, the software architecture that they are built, the way they're built, does not necessarily allow for that agility that we have. So that's also one of the key differentiators I believe we have.
So could you shed light on how AI and data analytics are integrated into your solutions, like a CargoStack and SkyPallet, to drive smarter decision making?
If I say to someone, what do you think of first when you hear the words AI? They would probably, especially in the last couple of years, for sure, they will think of ChatGPT, Gemini, and so on. There are other models, but the ChatGPT and other types of models in this world are the first that come to mind to people. But in fact, when we're speaking of those, we're not speaking about AI in general. We're speaking of large language models. There are language models, so LLMs. This is one branch of AI. There's many other branches. Before ChatGPT came to the market, machine learning was already something that was in the picture, and still very much is in the picture. So for us, AI is a broad topic. We have deployed dozens of AI models that rely on machine learning for our clients over the last few years. And now the question that comes for us and for many others is, what value is there in the LLMs, so the ChatGPTs and others, to sort of coexist with other more traditional is maybe not the right word because it's been there for not so long, but the more, let's say, free ChatGPT type of AI, how do they coexist together, and where those models have value for airlines? So while it's quite clear for machine learning decision support systems, in the case of LLM, we believe it's also very much something that can have a lot of value for airlines. So we're working with our research teams in terms of how can we bring value, or how can we derive value by implementing LLMs in our systems. I cannot really announce anything now, but there's lots of use cases that we're looking into. Typically, LLMs are something where you have a prompt. So you have something which is either a question you ask, an instruction you give, or can be like, draw me a picture, or write for me some code. All these use cases are very valid and have some applications, concrete applications in our cargo. So we're looking into all that space, and we hope to have concrete use cases, proof of concepts, and so on in the roadmap coming soon.
So how does CargoStack revenue optimization module transform the way airlines and cargo operators approach pricing and capacity management, and what benefits have clients seen from adapting to this tool?
So the benefits are very clear. We have revenue increase and cost reduction. I mean, obviously that's, those two things are always what airlines are after. Any business really is after that. But so how do we achieve this? So first, revenue uplift. One is through better forecasting your capacity. Every single extra container we are able to sell because we've been able to better forecast how much capacity a flight has is extra revenue. Same thing for overbooking modules. If you're able to properly and accurately overbook to the right level, then you can sell a bit more and yet not having any offloads. That's extra revenue again. And three, entry conditions, revenue management optimization. That means selling at the right price, selling with the right thresholds, ensures that you don't have revenue dilution. So that's really, those are three arrows, if you will, to increase your revenues. On the cost side, if you have accurate capacity forecast, you're also decreasing your offloads. So you have clear cost reduction there. And a lot of the cost reduction also comes, I would say, from productivity gains because we automate a lot of things. So typically right now we are having customers that we went live with last year who are doing tasks that are fully automated that used to be manual. So setting up a capacity profile of a flight, setting up a hurdle rate, things like that, now can be fully automated across a large chunk of your network, and analysts are switching from a execution job type to really monitoring what the model is doing and just making adjustments here and there depending on where the model is not necessarily delivering the best result, because you always have some outliers cases where you have to have a human intervention to say, well, this is a bit too high, too low, I will adjust. So our model allows to do that. So fully automate, or at least automate as much as you can where it makes sense, and then leave space for very tactical, even strategic in some cases, targeted decisions.
So, could you share some of the challenges the company has faced while developing solutions like SkyPallet and CargoStack, and how those challenges were overcome?
So the challenges that come to mind are very much often of two types, I would say. One is the general pace of the industry. So us as a provider, we always want to go fast, right? We're agile, we're ready to implement. So we always want an airline to make a quick decision and say, well, we're ready to work with you. Let's start. So of course, in real life, that's not how things work. Airlines have plenty of projects, especially in this, in the today's world. There's so many initiatives that are launched that, they can only have so much on their plate at the same time. So we're always coming among other projects, and we have to find ways to make progress and to move forward with airlines. So I think that's one. The other one would be, I would say, on the data side. So there's plenty of things we can do. We have the capabilities to do, but sometimes we're not able to necessarily go all the way until delivering what we would ideally like because of reasons like there's not the data we need is not there. It doesn't exist because it's never captured. So it needs to be captured. And of course, if you start capturing data after 1 week, you get 1 week of data. It's not enough. So you need to wait for long enough to have a set of data which you can drive value from. Or if it's there, if the data is there, sometimes the data quality is not up to a level where you can train a model on. So yeah, those would be the type of challenges that we've encountered, and I think many stakeholders in the air cargo industry encounter.
So, what has been the impact of implementing Wiremind's cargo solution for clients like Qatar Airways Cargo, especially concerning AI-driven revenue management?
Quite happy with the results we're getting for those implementations. You mentioned Qatar Airways Cargo, of course, one of our biggest customers. So the value they're getting is, well, I sort of answered a bit in the previous questions you asked about that, but we're really deriving value from automation and from having live day-to-day in production models that automate a number of decisions that have to do with entry conditions, with overbooking, with capacity, etc. So that's value we're seeing day in day after day. I mean, and that we're quite proud of. Yeah.
How does Wiremind Cargo stay ahead of industry trends, continue to innovate to meet the growing demands of air cargo industry?
So for us, innovation is really about listening to customers and their pain points. I think innovation always comes from something that is not working that you want to fix. So I don't believe in sort of a magical innovation that comes from one great idea that comes out of nowhere. For me, if I look at ourselves, of course, but even the wider industry, the most innovative things have always been like starting with a conversation and say, well, we're struggling with this. We have a pain point here, or we don't know how to solve this. And then this leads into further conversations that then later on can lead into products. So I think that's how innovation works. So that means you have to be close to your customers. You have to talk with people who are not your customers yet, but understand their pain points because they might one day become your customer, and you have to listen to those who are already your customers, but not just because you sold them one product, suddenly everything is done and you have innovated. You can't say that you have innovated. It never stops. So having a small company with a mindset of innovation, having a team that is very agile, that is not, let's say, hindered by old technology, and that really can do a lot because of new technology, but because of having an API native environment. Every single data point in our systems are in an API, have their own API. All this allows to create an ecosystem where innovation can really happen. So that's something that's a key cultural DNA item for Wiremind Cargo for sure.
Right. Coming to Middle East market, what role does the Middle East region play in overall growth of Wiremind's cargo operations?
It's an essential role. If you look at Wiremind Cargo and the wider CargoTech group, with our colleagues, for example, Cargo AI, that are also present in the region. So for us, Middle East is key. You just look at the list of our customers. It's quite clear that, for example, in our case, 2 of our 3 biggest customers are in the Middle East, and I think that list will continue to grow. So we've quite been successful in that region, and we continue to keep being so. So we're very grateful to all our customers in the region, for having trusted us sometimes from an early day when we didn't have a product that was yet at the level it is today. So I think that shows also, it's a testament to Middle Eastern airlines and forwarders, the ability to trust a process and not just a product that is what it is at a certain time, but also where it can bring you in later years. And if I go back a few years before, for sure, we were not where we were today. So having, earned that trust of those airlines in the Middle East, for us is one of the big sources of pride at Wiremind Cargo for sure.
Right. So how has been the partnership with your collaboration with CargoTech benefited the company?
I would say it's much more than a collaboration. I mean, CargoTech is our investing partner, and we're sharing much more than just an investment, a financial investment. CargoTech is all about is being a one-stop shop to airlines and more stakeholders in the air cargo industry, so that they can have an answer to any question that's possibly can be solved by a digital solution, a software system. We also have companies that belong to CargoTech that are looking into other areas, just as consulting, but really software is a big part of our CargoTech DNA. So having that DNA combined with all the CargoTech companies that have people at their helm that are very experienced in the air cargo industry, people that I like to say sometimes that we build tools that we would have loved to have ourselves when we were in the business. So myself, I was a user of tools that now I'm building. So that DNA, I think, is at the core of all CargoTech group, and I think that's something that's very valuable in the day to day, but also on the long-term strategic positioning that we have. So that's for sure is a quite good alignment for us moving forward.
So coming to my last question, what are your strategic goals for maybe like next 3 to 5 years? Are you planning any other new product solutions for the industry?
So we have 3 main products. We have our SkyPallet solution, which is a 3D ULD optimization solution. We have our CargoStack optimizer, which is our revenue management suite, which is decision support, you could call it. And we have CargoStack CMS, a core cargo management system. Those 3 products don't have the same maturity level and don't have the same number of customers. So we have a very tailored approach depending on each product to grow, and we intend to continue to do that in the next few years. Now, when it comes to new systems, I would say that rather than a new product like a 4th one, we would rather focus on adding new modules. So of course, the difference between a product and a module is not always clear, but in our case, we really think that those 3 products are 3 pillars, and then we constantly try to improve them by adding new capabilities. Sometimes just 1 or 2 features very targeted for a customer use case, and sometimes a whole module. So one example, when I say module, I think, for example, of an operational module for SkyPallet. SkyPallet right now has a range of use cases it's covering, but we intend in the future to add modules such as an operational module that will help us go with the operational workflow, speak to GHAs so that they can use our system to directly build the ULDs in their warehouses. So that would be typically areas of growth that we intend to look at, and we're already looking at in the next few years. So we're quite excited about that.
So I think that is all. Thank you so much for speaking with us.
Thank you for your time.
And we wish you good luck for
I
that.
appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.